Alright guys, welcome to VALORANT News. Massive drama in the VALORANT world yesterday as it seems that evil geniuses are on their way out of esports in its entirety, leaving the LCS by mutual decision apparently just yesterday. This has raised questions. What's going to happen in the VALORANT League as well? Many people have asked for EG to leave the VALORANT scene in recent times. That may now be happening. What does that mean for the players? What does that mean for the other teams in the league? Does it mean we're going to still have 11? Maybe it just goes down to 10 with G2 taking their place. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Firstly, an interesting update yesterday. The Game Changers World Championship in Sao Paulo, the grand finals, well, will come up on December the 3rd, quite a while away. We'll see the bracket here in a second. And during that, there will be a new team deathmatch map reveal. So they're bringing out new maps every so often. Of course, Sunset was the most recent one we've had in the competitive queue, but a new TDM map coming in due course as well. Good gamer, to be fair. I think people have generally enjoyed it. Now, we're going to talk organization drama in a second. This is one such example, though, on G2 Minnesota Rocker and version 1. So version 1, the ownership group of Minnesota Rocker and other teams in the esports world, they have been looking for a merger and acquisition for some time. This was rumored a long time ago now to be G2, and apparently this is now basically a done deal. This is the reason why we believe that version 1 sold their team in Game Changers to Shopify Rebellion, because that on the surface seems like a weird thing to do going into the World Championship, but when you consider that, well, G2 Esports also have a Game Changers team, it's kind of an inevitability. So we think that in due course, version 1 will effectively be, I don't know if they'll be rebranded or exactly how it's going to go, but they're not going to have both G2 and version 1 both in the league. So that's a merger that's going on. It's going to affect the Call of Duty side as well, I imagine, with Rocket in addition. But G2 are taking over that, and apparently that's now basically a done deal. Now, speaking of G2, they won last year's VALORANT Game Changers World Championship. Of course, their team now isn't quite the same as it was back then, but this is the bracket. So G2 goes in here again. They play Team Liquid's Brazilian team first up. EG here, of course. There was drama with EG. Let's not forget, again, they can't escape it, when they qualified, surprisingly really, for the Game Changers World Championship, but then one of their players, Keen C, has been disqualified after various drama. They don't have the full team that they necessarily intended, but they still could be a serious threat. BBL Queens should be pretty good as well, of course. Turkish team, Crew Blaze, and then the Edward Gaming female team, and then Shopify Rebellion, one of the big favourites, the former version 1 team, that should be very good. So that's starting pretty soon, and then as we said, when the grand finals happens December the 3rd, there's going to be a reveal for the new TDM map, it seems. And yeah, if you guys are unfamiliar with the rosters, I'll just bring them up here if you guys wanted to pause and have a look and see how things are going. But yeah, I would say that pretty much Shopify Rebellion, and then I guess the G2 Gozen team. But honestly, it's kind of stacked. Like last year, I think there was only a couple of teams that could win. This year, I think it's slightly less clear who's going to win, which is always exciting. But the big story of yesterday in the esports world was around the LCS, especially because the World Championship, like Worlds, right, has just ended. Crazy storyline. Faker wins with T1, like incredible stuff. And just like the day after, really, we now get this massive news that the LCS in the North American side is going from 10 teams down to 8 teams. So this was the initial reporting that, according to multiple sources, this is now a done deal. The owners held a meeting where they floated the idea of going from 10 down to 8. They'll confirm whether they go through this on Monday, and well, we'll see the answer to that here in just a second. So not every team's GM has even been made aware of this. Apparently people didn't know about it until last minute, and then bang, they dropped this update yesterday from John Needham. Last week, I guess I'll just go full screen, I suppose, with this, because it's a big story. Last week, we spoke with all of our LCS partner teams to convey our commitment to the LoL esports ecosystem in North America and share our plans to reshape the league. In 2024, they're going to an 8-team league, making the mutual decision with Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses to exit them from the LCS. They talk about why, big thanks to Golden Guardians and EG, etc, etc, and yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Now, it was a little bit unclear initially whether this was the league saying, yeah, guys, you're getting out of here, we don't want you around anymore, or whether this was the teams deciding to leave. Now, Travis Gafford says that it was effectively the latter, that they shifted to an 8-team league in reaction to teams wanting to exit, not the other way around. So a little bit of controversy, because Golden Guardians tweeted out, however, given Riot's decision to shift from the 10-team to the 8-team league, then we've got to go. But apparently their organization kind of wanted to go, and that implies the same thing for EG, right? Because apparently EG were effectively wanting to leave the LCS, and therefore they have found a way to do so. And if they're leaving the LCS, what is keeping EG in Valorant? Like, it can't be much at this point. They're hanging by a thread. And let's be honest, right? EG, that organization had to pay in, right, to get into the LCS. There was effectively the franchise fee when that first came around. In Valorant, there's no franchise fee. So they paid to get into the LCS, and now they're getting out of there. In a league that they didn't pay to get into, and Riot had to accept them in, they're hanging by a thread at the very least right now. Evil Genius is staying around. So then Zelsys says, how about we remove those frauds from the VCT too? So, no player likes Evil Geniuses, especially the players on Evil Geniuses themselves. They just won the World Championship. They've always been, at least over the last few years, a highly questionable organization. And it's, probably about time that the repercussions of that are seen here publicly. But the pretty crazy thing that then continues on this is Kevin here of the Sports Business Journal says, I think actually that is happening. He quote tweets Zelsys and says, yeah, I think this is happening. Players are sitting in contract jail is yet another thing to discuss. So as far as he's concerned, then the reporting comes out to suggest later in the day that EG are looking to basically end it all. Like, they're going to leave esports. What else do they do but esports? But obviously this is a massive story, the idea that EG are just going to sunset their organization, basically. They've had so many issues. The lawsuits, the amount of money they're losing, the PR, the sponsors I'm sure are pulling out, the corporations that are bankrolling this are probably pulling out, and they can't fund the LCS project anymore, I imagine. And, can I imagine that they're going to do the same for Valorant? Probably not. Even if they were to continue to stick around, do Riot even want them around anymore? The way that they're treating their players, the fact that, lots of these guys stuck in contract jail, it's not good for anybody, especially when, Riot get to decide whether EG stay or whether they go because they're a partner. It's not like they've paid to get in. So, they must be, there's no way this lasts for that much longer. And the theory is that they're just going to call it a day sooner rather than later. So what are the implications of this? I guess that's the big question. If EG leave the VCT or Riot kick them out or whatever, and they die as an organization, I don't know, which would be sad, because EG, a legendary organization, but it wouldn't be sad, I suppose, for many of the people that have been screwed over by these guys over the last several years. But nonetheless, what does that even mean? Do we go to a 10-team league? Is there a replacement there? What does that mean for the players? Because if their contracts are voided and, they're ended basically, then where do they go? We think we know where Demon 1 and Ethan might go. We think that's going to be NRG anyway. We're pretty sure that Boostio is going to be joining 100 Thieves. No, that's not exactly sure. And seeing this news, Boostio then says, wish me luck applications for McDonald's employment. But we're pretty sure that Boostio should be okay. Common Jorgamo, that's another question. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it G2 that wanted Jorgamo? But then they thought, we probably can't get him, so we'll go down another route. Maybe if they'd abided their time, they could have potentially found out that Jorgamo is going to become available. But does that mean we only get a 10-team league? I mean, that's highly possible. This most recent season, these were the 10 teams in the Americas, all of course officially partnered teams. However, now we have G2 coming in. It was meant to be the Guards, but now it's G2 as the guest slot. But there was always my theory that maybe the guest team, if they prove to be a better organization than one of the partner teams, could just become a partner team in due course. So let's say EG are gone. Maybe they'll find another replacement, but I think that given the fact that G2 are there, they won't be hurried to. Let's not forget, Riot were very keen to do to just do a 10-team league and not even let G2 in the first place. When the Guard drama happened and G2 were going to buy them, they were like, yep, unlucky guys, we're going to stick with 10. They seemed pretty happy with that and didn't want to dish out the extra stipends they have to pay to an extra team. So I don't think Riot are going to be hurrying to find an 11th team replacement here. I think they'll be pretty satisfied, actually, that EG can go and then G2 can stay as the guest team. And maybe in due course they become the partner team as well. Now ideally G2 stay as the guest team or even become the partner team, and then another team comes in as either the guest slot or the partner slot, and therefore we still have 11 because every other region's going to have 11, and it's going to be a bit weird if that's not the case. But Riot were kind of willing to do it a while ago when they wanted to just keep it at 10, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case if this eventuality occurs. Would screw over the players though, like Com for example, don't know where he would go. The other players seem to have destinations, but but basically every other team has locked their roster, right? So it's not a great time for this news to come to light for a lot of these guys. Even FNS was roasting EG as well, like Boostio says, what if FNS had this type of aim? Obviously, roasting FNS is aiming prowess, shall we say, and then as FNS says, I would have snapped you in your fraud organ of existence before you even stepped foot on main stage with that type of aim. So, yeah, your fraud organization. So another one, and that was even before, I'm pretty sure, all the drama kicked off yesterday with the potential future of Evil Geniuses. So, really intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. I think it's difficult to predict for anyone, really, what exactly this means and what happens next in this case. But I'm sure that Evil Geniuses and the players are probably not getting told much by their organization right now as to exactly what is going on behind the scenes. With any luck, of course, this will end well, but many people have been hoping and praying that EG, like as an organization, will run into some difficulties with their VCT slots, and it feels like that is now officially going through. So intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just to finish off with this, we put out a new video on the Breaking Point Valorant channel yesterday, the biggest cheating scandals in Valorant history. We did one in Call of Duty actually a while ago on the COD channel, which did really well, but that was, from like 10 years worth. So we had to wait a little while here to get enough cheating scandals for this to be, an actual valid content. But thankfully, there's been quite a few various cheating scandals and dramas over the last couple of months. If you guys want to check that out, it'll be linked in the top line of the description. All that good stuff. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.